It'd be nice if they just had something for the 80-year-olds, because we do everything at a much slower pace. And I started at a resistance of, I think, 22, and I'm up to 34 now, and I can do 36%, but I have to push it down a little bit. But it'd be nice if there was, something for, although whatever she does, she always says, do it at your own pace, don't push yourself. If you can't do it, just slow it. And so that's what right. I do. If she says 100, I do 80. and that way I can keep up, and I can do the intervals and I can climb the mountain. So
it's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the clip out.
Welcome to the Clip Out, episode 168. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hi, how's it going?
Oh, hanging in there.
This is literally the first time we're talking since I've been home. I came home and you were on the phone, and then I was on the phone.
And then I was on the phone again.
And then you were on the phone again while we were getting all the computer files started. So, it literally, the show started. This is the first I've spoken to you since this morning.
Hello.
Hi. So we should probably update people in case they care quickly on Brian's driving.
I know. I definitely think we should. So last week we left you with the cliffhanger of he was taking the test the next day for the fourth time.
After Crystal had sat down and really super helped him.
I did.
And this is what happens when you put a project manager on the case. Boom, 95.
Woo!
Gets a 95.
He was so happy.
Oh my God, he was beside himself. So then I immediately took him to the DMV where we stood in line for an hour and a half before we finally got to the door of the place. And then they told us the computer was broken.
Oopsie.
And sent us home.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to prove residence in Missouri, the thing that they mail you for voter registration
isn't good enough.
There's
some irony there. Moving right along.
Yeah, we'll let you draw your own conclusions. So enough of that. That's the update, though, in case people were curious.
Totally.
But beyond that, what do you have in store for people?
Well, we have an interesting topic because Peloton is hiring for a position.
Yes.
That I think will cause much skepticism.
Interesting.
We got to talk about that. Also, we have some stock sales. We have some stock stuff to talk about in general. And there's just tons and tons of updates. The huge. We're going to talk about Peloton. That's what we're going to talk about.
Oh, what a reversal of fortune. So before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And of course, if you would be so kind, is to leave us a review so other people know that maybe we're worth listening to. I say maybe. Not all the reviews say that.
Especially when they don't like what we say.
But we skip those so they can start their own podcast about how we suck. So
Totally.
Would you like to hear a review?
I would.
This is from Vegan Spinner.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
And they say, great for sharing with friends who are new to Peloton. Good for catching up with what's new and warning the newbies about inquiring over the lovely pause button. I'm a Peloton OG with the bike and have had the tread for almost a year. I love listening to Crystal and Tom when I drive, clean, wash dishes, clean, and walk the dogs. They must clean a lot.
They clean a lot.
Yeah.
Super clean at their house.
That's good in this day and age.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
They make these tasks enjoyable, and then Vegan Spinner is their leaderboard name. Aww. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you very much. Aw.
And also don't forget that we have a Facebook page. You can go there if you want to stay up to date throughout the week. That's facebook.com/realspoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And you can also check us out on our website, theclipout.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter, which means you will get all this stuff sent to you in a easily digestible format. So you'll have the links and the pictures and the videos and all that. Speaking of videos, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/theclipout, where you can see me saying this to you instead of just hearing me say this to you.
Yeah, so we can do things like,
oh, look at that. You wouldn't want to miss something like that. So anyway, that's all of that. Let's dig in, shall we?
yes.
Breaking news.
I feel like we've already started off this podcast with a lie because I don't really think this counts as breaking news anymore. But we have a very brief update on the Leanne situation because after we went to press.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we record a couple days before the podcast.
Yeah, it takes a while to edit and get it all together, put in all the fancy bells and whistles. So after we had done all that and pushed the episode out, Leanne issued a new statement about everything that had occurred.
She did, and it was an apology, and it was very clear what she was apologizing for. She used verbs in her sentences, and I think it really did a lot to put this whole thing to bed. So congrats to Leanne for doing the right thing. Thank you to Peloton for doing the right thing. I know a lot of people appreciated it.
Absolutely.
I know the people that were originally upset about the whole thing, they felt a lot better, accepted her apology instantly. So wonderful.
Yeah. And I will say, I know sometimes people get a little wonky about like why it takes so long or what's the timing that, and it's like, I understand where that's coming from, but I will also say if you want people to move forward on an issue, then you also need to accept when they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's, and I'm not telling people how to feel, but just that's kind of where I stand on it, that if someone's apology seems to be sincere, I think you almost kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt until you see otherwise, because if you don't, you're only incentivizing people to dig in on issues like this rather than actually try and have a constructive dialogue.
I totally agree. I definitely do. I think that's the right thing. And I think that's where most people landed on the issue. So there we go.
Cool.
One other thing I do want to mention is that there was also, we're not a journalistic podcast. We're a fan podcast, but people get very yes. And so I do want to say that when we were recording last week, I talked about the fact that Leanne's new group, it had non-Jewish admins, and that she was supporting that group. So at the time that we recorded and I was told that information, there were 2 admins who originally started the new group. They were both not Jewish. However, they have since added 9 more. So they're up to like 900 people. They've got 11 admins. And so it was brought to my attention that was not correct. And I definitely wanted to take responsibility for that because we do want to get it right. It's not our goal to go around and say things that are incorrect. It just happened to be a timeline thing. And I didn't reach out and double check. I went by what I was told, which was accurate at the time, but it changed. So
yeah, there is a lag time between when we record these and when they go live, and sometimes things get kind of straddle in between them.
And I didn't double check.
Yeah. So hopefully that brings all of this to a close, and we can move on to more enjoyable topics. Because I just want to make dick jokes. Can I just make dick jokes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Is there something that you want to make a joke about now?
No, now I'm on the spot. You got to put
okay,
no.
Okay.
But
Well,
I just want to.
I'm sure it'll come up organically. Did that help?
There you go. Now you're stealing my dick jokes. That's my job.
I've known you for a long time, Tom.
I'm a little nah.
Okay.
So
you want me to start the next time? I'm transitioning.
Whoa! What is happening?
Okay, guys. So, I don't bring up very often when Peloton posts job openings because, well, they post them every day.
Because it's all we'd ever do.
That's it. It would just be exhausting. But somebody posted on the Clip Out page, and I felt like this was worth mentioning. They are hiring a vice president of artificial intelligence.
Interesting.
Let your mind explode with possibilities.
And you can let your mind explode because they're going to build an artificial mind to do your thinking for you.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So what do you think that would do? Like, I like, when I think of AI at the moment, I think of what you're seeing with things like tonal or form.
That's what I think of too.
It gauges how you're doing things, but can it really, is there that, and again, I say this as a guy who's fat and lazy and doesn't ride the bike. So like, is there really that much they can correct about pedaling?
Well, first of all, we don't know it's for the bike.
True.
We don't even know it's for an existing vertical.
Fair.
But let's just say it is. People have brought up the possibility that maybe what it's going to do is like take the classes that you take and make suggestions very specific to you.
Gotcha.
Kind of like Netflix, but for your bike or your tread.
Right.
So they kind of already do stuff like that. Like they know what instructors I take all the time. So it'll say like your instructors. But I think that this person was saying, not only will they do that, but maybe they'll add on to that and it'll be things like, you know what? You took a 15-minute abs class yesterday. Today's the day you need to do your legs. I'm totally guessing, but more specific, maybe not quite to get to the point where it's doing programs, but maybe programs are in the, I mean, we're blue skying, as you like to say.
No bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Right. So I really have no idea. Those are just the things that people have tossed out there. And then you have a dick joke.
No, I was just thinking maybe we'll get that long ago discussed sexy filter. It's been so long. That's for the long timers, the people that have been here from the first like 10 or 15 episodes. Maybe we'll finally get the sexy filter.
You never know.
You never know.
Oh my God, you haven't talked about that forever.
Peloton stock ticker.
So NBC-Universal has been a stakeholder in Peloton for quite some time.
Yeah. And
that some time is now no time.
It is. It has come to a close. They have sold off their entire stake in Peloton. Get this. They saw an $86 million gain in the investment in the fitness company in the second quarter of this year.
Do we know, just because the Peloton stock has just been on a tear?
Oh, yeah.
And do we know at what dollar amount they sold off at?
Oh, I don't know that it said in here because I am a terrible person and I did not read the article fully. Nope, I got nothing. It does not say.
I was just curious because it's like it's been on a tear, but it's like for a while it was like around $58 or $60, and we're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then it went to the mid 60s, and then it was in the 70s.
It got up to $74 this week. I mean, right now I'm looking at it, and it was it's down over yesterday, and it's still 71.21 right now. Nice. So, woo.
So I'm curious. What the logic was? Is it just profit taking?
It appears to be, yeah. Gosh, I feel like, oh man, you know what? When we start talking about stuff, we need to like reach out to John Mills and have him on because he knows, and he had like a whole thought process about this, but he thought that they were going to do maybe an acquisition. I think that's what he said. John, forgive me if I am misquoting you. I've read a lot of crap this week.
Did you just call John Mills stuff crap?
No. Called everything I've read crap.
Oh, so there you go. You're as good as everything else she's read, John. That's what she's saying.
Thanks, Tom.
No problem. It's what I do.
Glad you're back to making jokes. I'm so sorry, John. But no, I think that's what he was thinking, that they would use that money to invest in something else. Yeah. But yeah, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. It also makes you wonder. We've seen a lot of partnerships with NBC. Like when NBC was carrying the Olympics, you saw Peloton involved in that at an NBC level. You've seen lots of talk about it on CNBC. It makes you wonder if that will now come to a close or if that will continue.
That's that I do remember that John theorized that they would not continue the type of thing, because like if you remember, one of the things that they did was the Olympics. They had that big thing at the Olympics, and he thinks we will not see things like that anymore. But it also says in this article that they had been looking for holdings to sell over the past year to pay down their long-term debt and invest in the streaming service. So that's what the theory is. It's not like they spell out why they did what they did, but that's what's in the article.
Interesting. So. And for those paying attention to Peloton stock, the next earnings report for the fourth quarter will be on September 10th.
Sure will. 5:00 p.m. Eastern. And somebody pointed out to me today, thank you, that you can go online to the investor reports at Peloton. I think it's investor.onepeloton.com.
Okay.
And you can sign up for those emails if you have not already. And I do, but I like to tell everybody. That's why I still post about them. So I wanted to make sure everybody else knew that because I thought that was a solid point.
Awesome.
Other connected fitness.
Our Fight Camp contest has come to a close.
It did.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We had a lot of people enter that contest.
Yeah, I mean, it came very close to the same numbers as other contests that we've had.
Yeah.
And Karen, oh man, I say her last name, Tom.
I didn't forget. That's why I let you say it.
Didonato.
DiDonato?
We're gonna go with that. Karen DiDonato is our winner, and she won not only the Fight Camp gym but a 12-month membership.
That's awesome.
And when we called her on Saturday, how excited was she?
She was very excited. So
and you
excited
guys would know
that we didn't record it properly.
Yeah, you would know if I had done it right, but it was really early on Saturday morning.
Very excited. And that's good. It's got to be a tough time to be a Karen, you know? And so she seemed very nice, and it's nice to reward a pleasant Karen.
I totally agree.
I can make fun of Karen. My sister's a Karen.
Yeah.
So I make fun of. I've been making fun of Karens
your whole life.
Way ahead of the curve.
You guys think he says a lot of jokes here. You ought to hear him get on a tear with his sister.
Yeah.
Oh my! I feel bad. Sometimes I gotta walk away.
Yeah, I've been making Karen jokes since the 70s. That's how cool I am. So she can now enjoy her Fight Camp just like you do.
She can, yeah. And speaking of, oh my gosh, I had the best workout the other day. I had done a weightlifting workout, and I've been meeting with this woman who I can't really call like she's my trainer, but she keeps like giving me advice like she's my trainer.
Is she? Maybe she's just pushy. Have we thought about that?
No,
okay.
She's incredibly helpful, so we cannot say that. And her name is Pamela, and Wendy Sturgis hooked me up with her, and it was a whole different conversation, but then we went down this other route. Anyway, the point is that she told me to try doing a HIIT workout right after that. So I did a 30-minute 8-rounder on Fight Camp.
Okay.
And oh my God, I was exhausted and felt great. Like it was awesome. It was just the perfect complement to after I had just finished up a weight program. It was just perfect.
Awesome. Well, now that the contest is over, and you know that you haven't. Well, this is for everybody but Karen.
Okay.
For you know that you didn't win it.
Yeah.
You maybe pull the trigger on picking yourself up your own Fight Camp. Comes right to your house. You don't have to have anybody come in and install it. It's super simple, and you can get all the information you need at joinfightcamp.com.
And if you buy one, don't forget to tell them that you heard about it on the podcast.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Back again, Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist, sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couple Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or her long-running radio show, The Dr. Jenn Show. She's written 4 best-selling books, including The Relationship Fix, Dr. Jenn's 6-step guide to improving communication, connection, and intimacy. And she also has a pretty handy-dandy app called No More Diets. Dr. Jenn, hi.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
We have a fun one to talk to you about today.
Yeah, it's our first listener request.
Yes, yes.
I love that. I love when people send in questions.
Me too. So, obviously there's a lot going on in the world today. We've got every kind of I don't know, what would be the word? Disruption.
And people are unhappy on a lot of levels for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
And I guess they're just kind of want to know what's a good way to stay in a more positive state of mind while all this craziness is circling around us.
But also keeping in mind that you want to be like for this person, they want to also balance social responsibility.
Right.
So like they want to stay aware, but they don't want to get quote unquote sucked in
or overwhelmed.
Yes.
And I think that the word balance is really the key in all of this. And it's such a great question because I know I've even struggled with this myself, that there have been times where I've been like, I should really take a class that is informative, like Chase Tucker's Juneteenth class, like that's something that I want to do right now. And then there are other times where I'm like, you know what? Like, I need to have Peloton be my escape from the pandemic, from all of the racial injustice that's going on in this world. That there are some times where, you know, I think of it this way, is that psychologically we're like a car. We need to put gasoline in the tank. And the gasoline comes in a lot of different forms. And self-care is a key form. And that there are times where we have to say, like, I know that I've had times where I've been like, I'm going to find a ride or a run or a class from before 2020 because I want to see people in the room. I want to remember the days when we were so innocent. And I do always find myself now going like, oh, we were so innocent. Like, right? Remember those days. But I think that sometimes it's really necessary to find that balance by kind of going back in time. And one of the wonderful things, many wonderful things about Peloton is that we can go back in time because everything is on demand, and we can find a class that is a little lighter to balance out the more knowledge-based classes that are also important in doing our part, in participating, in being educated, in supporting the cause and all that sort of stuff. And at the same time, there's nothing left of us if we don't take good care of ourselves, that we can't be there for the causes that we believe in. We can't be there for our family. We can't be there for ourselves if we are burnt out, if we're just frazzled and on the floor in a puddle. We need to be able to find that balance and really, you know, and sometimes it also means, you know, just turning on some junk TV or limiting our news intake. You know, that there are times where we have to say, you know, I want to know what's going on in the world, but I don't need to watch 5 hours of news. That I'm going to limit to 1 hour, and I'm going to watch some really junky TV. For me, and look, I don't consider it really junky because the writing's so great, but Sex and the City is one of my favorite go-tos. That when times are rough, you can find me in my bathtub watching Sex and the City. Like, that's it. And we all need to have, I call them mini vacations that we can do in our homes, in our lives, that aren't expensive, that where we can just escape and have some brain candy.
First off, Sex and the City is great until the second movie. That last movie was awful.
Look, we could do a whole podcast about the movie. I mean, like, that's a whole other story. But I am a loyal viewer of the TV show.
The TV show is great. And even that first movie was pretty good. But back to this, when you're saying this, it kind of reminds me of like when you're on a plane and they tell you, in the event of emergency, if you have like a child with you, put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because if you're not healthy, you can't help your kid be healthy.
You know, though, I think I might speak for a lot of people who I get everything you're saying, but sometimes you get caught up in the moment and you forget that you need balance, or maybe you don't recognize a warning sign that you need to kind of pull back out of it a little bit, because there are so many things, regardless of how you feel about whatever topic we're talking about at the moment, whatever side you're on, there's a lot to be upset about right now. And so it's like,
agreed.
How do you want to be in the moment and help other people and educate other people when they have questions and things like that. But then like, where's that warning sign? Is it because you're feeling a little stressed? Is it because you're feeling depressed? Is it both? Is it something different?
Well, I think all of those for sure. That when you have the awareness that you're feeling depressed, when you have the awareness you're feeling really anxious, when you have the awareness that you're struggling to get out of bed, or you're having trouble focusing, or you're not able to tend to your work, or you're really short-tempered with your partner or your kids, or you're not getting yourself on the bike or on the tread, or getting yourself working out, which is part of self-care, that those are all red flags. I also think that when we have people in our lives, and obviously many of us, most of us are quarantined to a large level still at this point, myself included, very quarantined. But normally we have a lot of interaction with a lot of people on our day-to-day basis who will reflect back to us, hey, you seem kind of short-tempered today, or like, hey, are you doing okay? Or, you know, our best friend at work or whatever it is. We have less of that input right now. So it's especially important that the people we are living with, or that we are friends that we're FaceTiming with and doing Zoom dinner and drinks and stuff with, that we're able to kind of say like, hey, let's all keep an eye on each other. Like if you notice I seem kind of agitated, like, hey, you know what? I welcome that feedback, because sometimes people may notice and they're scared to say something. They don't want to offend you. So really being one another's touch point for noticing one another and making it very clear that we welcome that feedback is a really important part of caring for our mental health and making sure we don't get too burnt out.
That's good advice.
Yeah, and before we go, I just want to point out something you talked about, you know, maybe limiting your news intake a little bit. And I read an article recently about the evening news, the network evening news, old school 30-minute evening news that your parents used to watch while you ignored. The ratings have actually gone up, and they said that they think the prevailing theory at the moment is that people are like, you know what?
I need a chunk.
I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch the nightly news so I know what's going on, but I don't need to continuously freebase the news like you do on the 24-hour, you know, news cycle station. So I just thought that might be a good solution for some people. Well, thank you very much. Until next time, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of the social media at Dr. Jenn Mann, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Mann, and also on my website, Dr. Jenn, spelled out DoctorJenn.com. And of course, my weekly Hump Day with Dr. Jenn in Style magazine column.
Peloton in the news.
Forbes.com had an article about 8 black wellness experts that you need to have on your radar.
Yes, they did. Would you like to guess who was on it?
Tunde.
Yes.
Alex?
And no.
Oh.
No. Switching it up because we have so many awesome instructors.
That is true.
Allie Love was on it. Yeah.
That makes sense too.
Yeah. And this is National Wellness Month, so they were like it was a grouping of not just fitness instructors but wellness experts in general. And so it was all types of topics that you should have on your radar. So very good article, and of course you will be able to get that whenever you receive our newsletter
that you can sign up for at theclipout.com.
Yes, and I will even remember to send it out this weekend. I did last weekend too.
That's a bold promise. She's saying that on a Wednesday. Who knows what the world will bring to her by Sunday?
It's true.
Peloton celebrity sightings.
Celtics player, or if you're really Anglican, Celtics player, Jayson Tatum has a Peloton.
He does. Somebody posted in the Clip Out group that he was in a Wall Street Journal article, which I did not bother to share with anyone because everybody would just go paywall.
Yeah.
But he talked all about his Peloton bike and how it's been helping keep up his endurance during the off season.
It's we've been watching the Last Dance thing because it's on Netflix.
Yes.
So we didn't watch it when everybody was talking about it.
Right.
But it popped up on Netflix, and we're like, oh, let's watch this. And we were talking about this last night. It's great because we know nothing about sports.
It's all completely new information. We get so excited everything that happens.
Right, because it's like it's a total soap opera, but we know none of it. Like we know not one thing. I'm like, Scottie Pippen plays basketball? That's why I know that name. I thought, why isn't he played by Ben Vereen? Oh no, that's the Broadway musical Pippin. I get them mixed up. And so, but whenever it ends, we're just like, well, what happens now?
Yeah.
Like we got nothing.
It's been so wonderful. I can't wait to when we get finished. Of course, it'll just be a good thing to finish. Like, it's been a great story.
Totally.
But also, I'll finally be able to take the Alex Last Ride dance. That was like 3 months ago or however long it was. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, whenever something happens, we're like, we don't know what's going to happen, but all we know is that Michael Jordan is going to do something amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I know this is like 30 years old for everybody else, but that man can fly.
He's like a one-man Harlem Globetrotter.
New content.
The final week of Pelothon
It is upon us.
It is upon us. It is nigh. Being very old school. Celtics, nigh. I feel like I should wear like a cloak.
Okay. You want to run upstairs and get one?
Yeah, I got it in my cloakroom. I went to Catholic schools, and we had a cloakroom. That's where we had to put our coats. They didn't call it a coat room. They called it a cloak room. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, but that was just like a cloakroom.
We had
and then I got yelled at for playing D&D because it's a tool of the devil. And I'm like, but cloaks?
We had a cubby hole.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Pelothon. You will have already finished Pelothon week 4 by the time you hear this, but I just want to say that yes, I know it's been confusing. The amount of people that have still messaged me this week, it's crazy. It was pretty easy this week.
Okay.
All you had to do was take one class labeled Pelothon. But where it went awry
Yes.
is that they only had one per discipline, which confused the heck out of people.
Right.
Because you didn't have to take it live. You didn't have to take, like, if you're usually a bike person, you didn't have to take the bike class, or you're usually a runner, you didn't have to take the running class. You just had to take the class. You just had to take a class.
A class in any, so you could just let a meditation thing play on your phone. You're good.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Not that anybody would do that because that would be cheating,
No.
and nobody wants a badge for free. Do the work. Do the work, Tom.
I'll take a free badge.
Yeah, but you don't do any of it. You don't get the badge. No badge for you.
Badges? We don't need no stinking badges.
And then it said in the information, you still need to have the hashtag on your profile. You do not need to opt in, and then you'll get your badge next Monday. So my understanding from this is because you didn't have to opt in, they're going to be handing out those badges manually again.
They're just going to come to your house and hand you a badge, right? Is that what they're doing?
I think that's the way they do it. But for real, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it could be at any point on Monday.
Sure.
If you don't get it by Tuesday, reach out to customer service. Don't bother them at noon on Monday. They're still typing away.
And also, if you don't get your badge, just to be clear, reach out to customer service. Don't reach out to Crystal.
Oh, yeah. I can't fix that.
She can't fix that.
I cannot fix that.
Yeah. There's also some new content for the world of pregnant people.
I was like, where are you going with this, Tom?
We've also been watching Call the Midwife.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Fascinating.
Yeah.
I actually really dig it.
Yeah,
it's totally different than anything else we've been watching.
Yeah, we were just like, let's watch something completely different than what we've been watching, which
we needed to do that.
Mostly true crime.
Yeah.
And then fake crime.
Yeah.
So
we needed a mix up.
Yeah, so we started watching Call the Midwife.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So now we can tell you everything you need to know about pre and postnatal yoga because of Call the Midwife.
No, we are not experts. But pre and postnatal yoga is up. There have been classes in the past. These are some brand new classes that just dropped. Kristin McGee seems to be the instructor for all of them, which is awesome. She's a mom, and she's a mom of 3, I think. And she's always posting videos of her and her boys.
Yeah.
And she does yoga with them. She teaches them yoga. It's very cool. But I just love how Peloton has kind of taken this whole shift to the family focus, because these pre and postnatal classes have been asked for years, and in the last year and a half or so they've really started adding more. It may have been a little longer than that. My Peloton history is starting to get a little fuzzy as far as dates go, but they've really taken that to heart. And I think another place that you see that is all of their family fit classes that we talked about that they added more of last week.
Right.
And then on that note, over on the One Peloton Instagram this week, Jess Sims and Kristin McGee went live to answer questions all about keeping your family fit.
How about that? And if you think about it, anybody could take these because while only some people are postnatal, technically anybody's prenatal.
Anybody?
Well,
so
sure.
that would be you.
Right. I'm prenatal.
So you're gonna take some classes?
But I'm saying it could.
Well, I think now you should.
Nah. But I am technically prior to being pregnant.
You're never natal.
Right.
Because you can't have a baby.
But so then that's pre.
No.
I am before the pregnant.
Because there will never be an after. So you're just never.
But so I'm prior to being pregnant.
No.
Right.
This
I'm
is what it's
prior
like,
to.
guys. This is what it's like all the time. All the time.
It's probably my hormones because it's right before I get pregnant.
Oh, are we having a baby, Tom?
No. I got her. I can prove we're not having a baby. I've got a receipt.
Things can be reversed.
Yeah. Not the way I did it.
Anyway,
So earlier you were talking about your strength training.
Yes, I have been absolutely loving my strength training. I cannot believe how much it's changed. Just like my entire body. It's funny because like I don't feel like the scale has changed. In some regards, it's gone up, as a matter of fact. But I feel like my clothes all still fit, and
Right.
I'm still like wearing the same clothes I was last summer.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of crazy that it can do that. But also I can't believe how much stronger I've gotten. I mean, I was just checking today. My strength score has gone up 116% since when I got the tonal.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I can tell I'm stronger, you know, and I can tell that like I'm running faster. I'm able to, not so much, I don't see it so much on the bike, but I think that's because I've been running more. So
Okay.
I think I always lose power whenever I do less on the bike. That's just always been the way it is.
Sure.
But I definitely see it when I'm running because my max speed is now up to, whenever I do a sprint, I got up to 8.0 the other day, which for me is amazingly
Right.
fast.
That's really good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my max speed just a couple months ago was 7.
Yeah.
So to be able to hit, even on a sprint, 20-second sprint,
Yeah.
that's just crazy.
What sort of classes are you doing on the tonal to get you there?
I have been focused on like the advanced programs where they do like, it's usually like a 4-day-a-week kind of program. And I reached out to the instructors. It's another thing that's awesome about the instructors about tonal because they respond.
Right.
And I asked for some guidance on where I should go for my goals. And they kind of, in general, tonal built out this entire like recommendation plan for people who are just getting started. So they kind of give you like, here's 6 months based on your workout goals. So I've been following that with great success.
Awesome. Well, if people want more information about the tonal, we've had lots of listeners buy them and just absolutely rave about
Yes.
them. You obviously rave about it.
Love my tonal.
And if you want more information, you can go to tonal.com or you can check out our other podcast, The Superset, which is like the Clip Out, except we talk about tonal, interview tonal instructors, the CEO, all sorts of, and other users. So if you want all sorts of information about tonal, go check out our other podcast, The Superset. And finally, there's a new artist spotlight.
Yes. Ellie Goulding. I didn't know that she had enough music out to like enough different kinds of songs
Right.
to like have multiple classes. And there's a lot of them. There's Olivia Amato Ride that takes place today. So on August 5th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And then there's a Bex Gentry Run tomorrow, 8/6 at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then Selena Samuela is doing a full body strength on Friday, 8/7 at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And Olivia is doing a HIIT cardio on demand that dropped today, 8/5 at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's a lot.
Yeah, sometimes these artist spotlights make me feel old because I have the same reaction. I'm like, she's got enough hits to like, oh.
And
okay,
yeah, and
she
I
does.
think, because I don't mean that to disparage
Totally.
Ellie Goulding. I
we
think,
mean it to disparage ourselves.
Absolutely. I think it just goes to show that, like, I don't know about everybody else, but as you get older, it's you find less time to find new artists.
Totally.
I think that's why I was so excited whenever I found Lizzo last year.
Right.
Because I like connected with it so much
Right.
and so strongly, and I loved it so much. And I don't do that with as many artists. Like, I like Ellie Goulding, but I couldn't name like 10 of her songs.
Yeah, I think also it's like, you know, when you're younger, the music speaks to you in a certain way.
It does.
And when you get older, like nobody's writing music about the things we care about. Like, how do I refi at a low interest rate? Like, nobody writes about
How do I deal with these teenagers?
Yeah. How do I lower my cholesterol? Like nobody's writing songs about that. Not
How do I juggle a podcast while also working full time?
That would be a great thing though, right? Like maybe bands that target older people now, like, right? Like what if Def Leppard had pour some NutraSweet on it, right? Like that could be a thing. I think this could be a whole new
genre.
of music.
Well, I don't know, but I can't wait to try it because I do like Ellie Goulding, and sometimes I'm not in the same place as some of these artist series, but I think that's the beauty of them, that they have been really going a lot of different directions, a lot of eclectic options for people.
They do. I think that they have like a great range of artists, and I say that even like I see a lot of stuff I don't know, and I'm like, that's good.
It should be.
It should be a lot of stuff I don't know.
It's like whenever the clothing drops drop, and I'm like, I didn't really like that one. I shouldn't like them all.
Right.
It's not just speaking to me; it's speaking to everybody.
And I'm personally relieved when you don't like it.
I know, Tom.
Like, that's delightful.
checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of Zoom Tube is Vivian Feeney. Hey, Vivian, how you going? How you doing?
Doing very well, thank you.
That is fabulous. We're so excited to have you here. I first heard about your story. Your daughter posted about it on Facebook.
I know. I have no idea. I didn't see it. I said, it's just me.
That, you know what? That's so easy for you to say, but let me, first, do you mind sharing your age with the community? Is that okay for us to ask?
Oh, sure. I'm 85.
So this is what's incredible to me personally. I have a mom and dad who are in their 60s, and they don't do any kind of activity, like other than what they absolutely have to. Now, my dad does do a little bit of weightlifting, but that's it. And they don't understand anything about the Peloton.
Nothing.
They don't understand what it is, why I love it so much, and they've never heard this podcast, and they've never talked to me on Zoom. So I think it's pretty darn amazing that you're here.
Hat tip.
Yes.
I was the same way. We had the Peloton in the house for 3 years before I even thought of sitting on it. And Caitlin said, just try it, because I was getting very itchy. I had been at home for 2 weeks. This was, when the at-home order had started. And everything that I had to do, I had done. I had no more drawers to clean, no closets, nothing. So I said, okay, I'll sit on it and I'll try it. And I started pedaling, and she went to, a couple of the instructors, and she said, this is what's going to happen. So she signed me up for a 5-minute class. So I pedaled for 5 minutes. And when I got through, I said, oh my gosh, I really like this. And it just brought back memories, because way, way back, that was my favorite thing to do as a child, was to ride the bicycle. I rode the bicycle everywhere. I rode the bicycle to the market, and I rode the bicycle to deliver my brother's newspapers when he wasn't able to do it, or even just to help him out. And we just rode the bicycle everywhere. And I said, gee, I can pedal this. So that's how I got started. And
that's fabulous.
Then she introduced me to one of Kristine's classes, and I really fell in love with Kristine. I told Caitlin why she reminds me so much of Caitlin. And she's got the same attitude, the same compassion, the same consideration. She's just just the motivation. And I see this in Caitlin every single day when she's talking to all of her students and everything else. So I started with her, and I absolutely loved it. And she's the one that I go to every single day. I've done one class every single day since. So I'm 122 classes in.
That is so amazing. Congrats on such a huge milestone.
Yes, but I really do it my way, and that's what you have to do. And
Totally.
I go according to a very special mantra, the I am an octogenarian. And I just say, I can ride the Peloton, and I will maintain my well-being, and I can ride every single day. So I've done that every single day, and I just love her classes, and I do them over and over and over again. And last Sunday was a milestone because I finally did a 20-minute 30-minute class, and it was her 30-minute classical music. And being a trained classical pianist, I absolutely fell in love with it. So I'll be doing that every Sunday from now on. I love it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So that's the way. But, the thing is, when you get to be an octogenarian, you can no longer tell your body what to do. The body tells you what it can stand. So you have to go along with that. Some days I just have to tone it down a little bit. But I'm just working every day. I just work in one area. I work to increase my cadence and my resistance so that my output is a little bit more. And I feel that by the time we get back home, we're at the vacation home up in Maine. And when I get back home, I'm going to have more privacy so that I'm going to be able to do a lot of the other aspects of the Peloton, like the strengthening and the meditation and the yoga. I won't do the running. I'm not a runner, but I'll do everything else. So I'm looking forward to getting back home so that I can improve my skills. Then I'll be able to do, the more involved classes. So
Wow.
So do you live with your daughter when there's not the COVID going on, or is that just a COVID thing?
Yes. We share a big colonial home. And I have my own space. It's all private. Okay. And the Peloton is down in the basement and the rec room down in the basement. And because the two kids are in school and she and Scott both work, then I can ride it any time now. So I can do 2 or 3 rides if I want to. Whereas here, we do have a Peloton here, except the space is kind of limited, and there are 6 of us using the Peloton. You can believe it, 6 of us.
Getting your money's worth out of it, though.
Yeah. Is there a sign-up sheet next to the bike?
Oh, well, we manage because both she and Scott are working from home so that they don't do it during their work hours. So you do it either before when they have a break. And it all works out. But it's nice to see the youngsters doing it. Proud of my granddaughter because she's already doing 60-minute rides, and I'm just so thrilled about it. And Caitlin's getting up to her 500, and so it's good. There are 18 in the family now that do the Peloton.
Whoa, that's fantastic.
How about that?
That's Well, it's great that you'll still have access to it too when you go back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is Caitlin. She just loves the Peloton, and when they were able to obtain this home, she said, "No way am I going to go up there on vacation and not have a Peloton." So she was able to get a Peloton for here, and that's right next to me, right here. So it's great. I find it, like I said, when you get to be in the 80s, you have to be very careful. And fortunately, I've been blessed with a healthy body. And I've done 122 rides now, and I've never had an ache or a pain from a ride. But you have to take care of your body too. And I'm progressing at my pace. But Christine is such a motivator. She's just so inspiring. I just love that girl. And I really enjoy doing it. And it's amazing. I wake up in the morning and I thank the good Lord, but I'm still, waking up and functioning. And then I say, thank God for the Peloton. And I can't wait to come up. I think I was on it this morning at 7:30. So it's great.
Well, it sounds like you got to get up there before everybody else wakes up. There's so many people trying to get to it.
Yeah.
So you said you were a trained classical pianist?
Oh, well, I started when I was 5 years old, and I played up until the time I went into nursing school. And, used to play all the classical wonders, Beethoven, Chopin, and just used to play for teas. And whenever anybody needed a little entertainment, I'd play. And but then I went into nursing, and oh my goodness, that was a change. You really couldn't do anything except nursing and studying, and it was way back in the early 50s. So it was totally different than what it is now. We had no time to do anything except if we had like a capping, they asked me to play a selection and little things like that, but it was just so wonderful to hear Michael Henry play the piano, and she had wonderful selections. It's just a beautiful 30 minutes.
Wow. So
I wish she would do something for the 80-year-olds. They don't categorize into the 80s. It's 70 plus. And there's a big
That's true.
difference. There's a big difference from being 70 and being 85. Like if I were,
Have you reached out to Christine on social media, or maybe your daughter has? Have you talked to her?
Oh no, I haven't, but I'll try. I just last night got into Instagram, and I guess that's the best way to reach her is by Instagram.
It is. She's very, she answers very quickly on Instagram. Definitely.
Yeah. It'd be nice if they just had something for the 80-year-olds, because we do everything at a much lower pace. And I started at a resistance of, I think, 22, and I'm up to 34 now, and I can do 36%, but I have to push it down a little bit. But it'd be nice if there was, something for. Although whatever she does, she always says, do it at your own pace. Don't push yourself. If you can't do it, just lower it. And so that's what right. I do. If she says 100, I do 80. and that way I can keep up, and I can do the intervals and I can climb the mountain. So.
And you haven't tried a class with any of the other instructors?
I like Emma Lovewell. She has a couple with the Disney songs, and I just love Disney. Having had so many kids and grandkids and everything, I know all the songs, and I do her. And I did Matt's, and initially, Caitlin had me do a couple of Matt's classes because he teaches you how to use your quads and your hamstrings and how to position your foot and this and that. And that helped a great deal. So, yeah. But I always go back to Christine. It's like working with my daughter, my adopted daughter. What can I say?
I think that's awesome. So it sounds like you would say that Christine is absolutely your favorite.
She is.
So did you do much in the way of fitness before Peloton? Is this a shift in the fitness regimen of your choice, or is this just a whole new journey for you?
Well, this type of exercise is, but in my later years, when my kids were all married and they were starting their own family, I was looking for something to do before the grandkids arrived, because I knew I'd have grandma duties. So I decided to play volleyball. I had never played volleyball, and I took instructions. And my other daughter, Tara, was a coach. She coached high school volleyball, and she knew the coach of the senior team in my hometown. So I joined and learned how to stretch and how to do this and how to do that. Also how to play volleyball. And I have to say, it was wonderful. And I happened to be it was a senior team, and I was the oldest. So I had to play with, youngest because they start at 55. I was able to keep up. That's why I say there's such a big difference, from 70 to 85. Because when I was 70, I was playing with 55-year-olds. And I played for, I think, 12 years. And we were state champions every other year, which qualified us for the Senior Olympics. So I actually went to the Senior Olympics 5 times.
Holy cow!
You are an Olympian.
Wow, you're an Olympian.
Yeah, and then when I bought the home with my daughter, I moved. It was 40 miles away, and I was getting older, and I was still healthy and I could do it. But the practices and the games were at night, and I had trouble driving home. The oncoming headlights bothered me to no end, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to have an accident or something. So I left that, and I joined a co-ed team in town. And honest to goodness, I enjoyed playing with 20-year-old boys. And, it was good. They all called me grandma. And of course, I was a grandma anyway, but they called me grandma. But they were amazed that I could keep up with them. And I played the whole game. And we actually won the league a couple of times. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. And,
they had a ringer. They brought in an Olympian. Like, it doesn't seem fair.
So, it just goes to show if you really want to do it, you can do it. And that's what Christine always says, you can do it. All you have to do is say, I can do it. And I've done that most of my life anyway. So it's fun. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoy the Peloton. That's why, Tom, you should try it. You would love it. You would like it. You have to try it. You have to sit and just pedal. And it's great.
Well, I think when I'm 85, I will give that a shot. I'll start with volleyball, and I'll work my way up.
Volleyball.
Yeah. But if anybody calls me grandma, I'm leaving. I'm telling you that right now. Well, you sound like you just there's certain people that have certain mindsets, and you sound like you really embrace new adventures. Like, you just seem to the little bit we've heard of your life, like, it just seems like you really kind of just like, that's a new challenge. Piano, yeah. Okay. What's that? Nursing? Sure, why not? Volleyball? Okay. Like, you just like doesn't seem to faze you at all. It's great.
Well, you just have to go in there and give your best every time you're doing it. And I've been very fortunate. I have wonderful teammates. I always had wonderful teammates and wonderful coaches. And it's just been very, very exciting.
Well, I have to say,
it reaches a point, where when your kids, when you've had your kids for a long time, and then they finally decide, well, I have to have a life of my own. I think I'm going to get married and have kids, and they have their own families, and all of a sudden you're watching them, and you're there. I'm always there to help them out and take care of them and do this and do that, but it's totally different. And that's why you have to, really find something new and exciting. And I've always been able to find something, to do, except when this COVID-19 popped up. It really changed everybody's lives, including mine. I can't tell you how it's just changed my whole life. And even after 4 months, I haven't driven in 4 months. And I have been driving since age 16. And,
wow.
That's the biggest thing. And of course, I won't drive anybody else's car. I have a gorgeous little Volkswagen Beetle, bright yellow one. You go anywhere in town, everybody knows who you are because you're probably the only one that drives that Beetle around. And I really miss my little car. And it just changes everything that you do. I was always up at 5, had a double cup of coffee at 5 o'clock. Sometimes I go back and, take another little snooze, but get going and have something to do all day long. And you get up here, and what are you going to do at 5 o'clock in the morning? Nobody else is up. So I learned to sleep. So now I'm sleeping later in the morning, which is, not my style. And I find that your whole system just changes. So I'm anxious to get back. Although I love it up here. It's beautiful up here. And
do you have
very few cases of the virus in Maine?
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you guys know when
Massachusetts? But we have a good governor, and he's doing a good job. And he's, I think we'll be safe going back home.
Oh, that's fabulous.
That's yeah.
I cannot say the same for Missouri.
Yeah.
But do you guys have an estimated date that you'll be able to go back home? Or are you just kind of taking it?
Actually, we're going home at the end of the month because my grandson, Caitlin's son, is actually graduating from high school on the 2nd of August. So although I can't attend, that's been the heartbreak of the season, because I had 5 grandchildren graduating from high school and no invitations to any of them because they weren't allowed. And so Colin will be graduating, so we're going back then. And then Katie, she's the Dean of Nursing at Assumption University now. Their classes are starting in the middle of August, so she has to go back to work
So are those graduations, are they not streaming? Are they at least streaming those ceremonies online so you could watch them that way at least?
I don't know if Medway is doing that, to be honest with you, although I did watch last weekend. My grandson in Long Island graduated, and they had it online, so I was able to watch everything. And
Gotcha.
no, I wasn't able to watch. It wasn't his graduation. His graduation wasn't on. But my son, who's the principal of a high school in Long Island, his high school ceremony was online, and it was just great watching it. And in fact, part of it started with a live class that I was doing, and I was just so heartbroken because I was running. His ceremony started at 10 o'clock, and he said, "Mom, I'll be talking, for like 15 minutes. So I thought it was from 10 to 15, but he forgot to tell me that they were going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star Spangled Banner beforehand. But anyway, I had it on loud so that I turned the volume down on the ride and listened to him speaking. But they had it online, so it was nice seeing him and all of his graduates.
And how many children and grandchildren do you have?
I had 6 children and 13 grandchildren.
Wow.
They're wonderful.
That's fantastic.
Well,
And I hear
they're
from
my
Caitlin that
inspiration. I mean, just to see them. Oh, it's just wonderful to see them and to see. I have. I think. What was it? 1 graduated from college. I have 3 in college, 5 going, and 4 in high school. So I have no more youngsters. They're all young adults. And they're terrific.
time for the great grandkids.
Now you wait for great grandkids. That's
Well, and I hear from Caitlin that they're all very proud of you for reaching your goals on Peloton and reaching 100 rides. They thought that was amazing.
Yes, two of my sons actually did the ride with me. But unfortunately, the ride that I did for my 100th ride was one of Christine's ride, and it was taken off. So
That's a bummer.
I don't have her shout out. So I'm aiming for 200, and I'm hoping she'll shout me out then.
Well, and if she does, have Caitlin record it on, like if she has an iPhone, you can use the screen recorder to record the class on your iPhone, and then you'll be able to keep it forever, even if they take the ride down.
Oh, really? But you know,
Yes.
you just never know when they're going to take a ride down. That's the thing. It's
I know.
usually after the fact.
Which is nice. If you go ahead and record it, then you have it saved forever, and
Yeah.
that way, if it's a special
Being 100,
milestone,
that would have been nice.
absolutely.
And they were all here. They were all here too, watching
Aw.
Grandma pedal away. It was great.
That's so great. So what
I
is
would
your
say that
leaderboard?
if any, there are so many Peloton riders, and I'm sure many of them have. I don't want to say older parents, but anybody 70 to 85. Just have them try it, and start very, very slow with 5-minute rides, and then 10-minute rides, and 15-minute rides, 20-minute rides, and it's just so wonderful, and it's wonderful for your body. It really is, and it gives you something to look forward to. And I do study all the graphs meticulously after each ride, and to see where I can improve, and it's a lot of fun.
So what's your leaderboard name?
Miss Viv.
Yes. I was having you say it for our listeners who may not
Oh,
know.
Miss Viv, yes. I tried. I'm known as Grandma Viv or Ms. Viv. We couldn't use Ms. Viv because somebody else had it, so we had to use Miss Viv. But it's a second name. And I have a son-in-law that just wouldn't call me Vivian and didn't want to call me Mrs. Feeney, so he said, I'm going to call you Ms. Viv. And it just stuck with me for the past 25 years. And, I'm Ms. Viv. But with the Peloton, I'm Miss Viv.
Well,
and not happy about it at all.
No, not happy. Well, we encourage everyone.
That's fine with me.
We encourage our listeners to follow you, so you might have some new followers pop up on your profile.
I know I had 8 followers before my 100th ride, and after my 100th ride, I had 44. I said, "Oh my gosh," you know. I said, "That's great." So I follow everybody.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Do you have any advice for people who are just starting their journey in Peloton?
Well, for my age group, you know, and that includes you, Tom. You know, just try it. You know, and it's not just pedaling; it's everything that the pedaling does for you, and you just have to do it. And you know, and it's the challenges that the instructors pose, and their inspiration, and it's just all I can say is, you know, I don't know why I didn't start 3 years ago. Can you imagine where I'd be today if I had started when we got the Peloton 3 years ago?
You'd probably be on your 6,000th ride.
Could be. Because if I say I'm going to do 1 ride a day, I do 1 ride a day. Sometimes I do 2. But, you know, it's just, that's my activity, especially now when you really can't go out and socialize. You can't go here and you can't go there. So you might as well be very friendly with your Peloton.
Well, I have to say, I really think that you are an amazing lady. So thank you so much for being so inspiring and sharing your story. It's very cool.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
So,
I just hope that it can reach some, you know, 70 to 85-year-old who really is looking for something different to do. And, you know, you really think, oh, no, I'm just too old to do it, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But that's not the fact. The fact is you can do it. And, you know, just take it slowly but surely. And you just, like I say, study your charts. Then you know where you can improve every time you do a ride.
So normally at this point, we ask people where people can find them on social media. Are you on any social media channels where someone could follow you, or is that not your thing?
No, I'm not. I went on to Instagram last night, but don't ask me how to. All I know is how to press the button. I don't know anything else because Caitlin says you have to use a photo to send a message or something like that. So that's something I'm going to have to sit down and really study. But no, I'm not that type of a person, really.
Sure.
I am on Facebook, and I do. I follow my kids because sometimes that's where you get more information than you do.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah, you can keep up with what they're doing, and so I am on Facebook.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll have people find you there. And I see Caitlin in the background. I think that's Caitlin.
Oh yeah, supervising Mom. Yes. She said, I did it for so many years. It's her turn now. So she's taking a turn at telling Grandma what to do, right?
She's making sure we're not...
I do listen because everything she says is absolutely right. So.
She's making sure that we're not catfishing you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for...
Well, thank you. This has been a pleasure. I just hope, more of the seniors, I should say, seniors would be interested. I have no idea if there's anybody. Is there any way I can find out if there are any other 85-year-olds doing this?
I'm trying to think. So let me dig around on Facebook and see if I can find any Facebook groups that are specifically for 70, 80-year-olds, and I will let you or Caitlin know. Either I'll send you an email is what I'll do, and if I can't do that, then another thing that we can do is we can ask people on our Facebook page. We can do like a poll and see if we can find some people that way. So find you some people in your same age group.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful, because I think if a senior communicates with another senior, it can be a little bit more beneficial for them.
Yeah, you'll be whipping them into shape.
Think so. in my day, yeah. I had 4 boys, a year apart, and to most it'd probably be a big challenge, but I did have a military background, and I was like a drill sergeant. And I have to tell you, these boys were absolutely wonderful. In fact, Caitlin is the youngest, and the oldest, my oldest boy is 13 years older than she is. And so she really doesn't know everything that went on, when the boys were growing up. And it's amazing. I talk, they never did this. And they know, you're just telling them, no, that's not right. I said, honest to goodness, they were so well behaved. And I said, I had 2 things that I required from them. I required honesty and respect. And I said, if you adhere to those 2, you're going to be fine. And they're great kids.
Oh,
that's wonderful.
They really
I think
are.
it might be because they have an awesome mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you again for your time.
Yes, thank
and
you so much.
You have a great rest of your day, okay?
Oh, gee, thank you very much. Yes, I really enjoyed this. I might do this
Likewise.
with somebody else. Although I have to say, we do Zoom with the family. Is this the same thing? Except
It is.
I didn't have the earphones and the earplugs or whatever they are. I've never used those before. Yeah.
Yeah, and we just do that because since we're putting it on a podcast,
It records better that way.
it
don't
doesn't
get-
pick
you don't
up
get the
background
background.
noise.
Right.
Exactly.
Precisely,
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it sounds really good on our end. So I think you'll be pleased with it, and I will send you an email with the date that the episode will air and all that. So you'll get
Okay.
all the details.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has
Thank
really
you
been a
very
lot of
much.
fun.
Likewise,
Right
we had
back
fun
at
too.
you. Bye, Caitlin.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. What,
does.
pray tell, do you have in store for people next week?
We are going to talk to Stacy Revere.
Awesome.
And Stacy is a longtime listener, and she also is going to tell us all about the Immuno Warriors group.
Okay.
So we're going to hear about what her specific illness is, but also all kinds of resources for people that might be struggling with immuno disorders.
Sweet. So until then, where can people find you?
People can find me at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram, Facebook, the bike, and of course the tread at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. Don't forget, you can find the show online in a myriad of places. Facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. You can watch this episode. You can watch this episode in video, assuming it all worked. Fingers crossed, at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/theclipout. You can also sign up for the newsletter at theclipout.com so you get all the articles and links and pictures and all that stuff delivered straight to your inbox. And remember, wherever you're getting your podcast from, be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And running. Bye, guys.